All right, what's going on there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. Goodness, very close to 2024. I can't believe it. About 12:11 p.m. here, California time. Latest quake shows a 1.4 earthquake into the Southern California area. We did see some larger movement overnight, including a 6.2 down in the South America region. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. First, taking a look at the live view of the Iceland volcanic action down there, northeast, or up there, I should say, northeast of the Grindavik, Iceland region. It looks like at least one active vent here in this image. Quite a bit of lava out amongst the surface areas there in the background. But even so, this looks like it's dying down a lot more than compared to yesterday and last night. All right, let's get into the latest statement here from the Icelandic Met Office. These are the folks with the official wording and the official know-all of what's going on up there across the area of Iceland. According to these folks here, they're stating that the intensity of the volcanic eruption remains steady today. Let's see here. In the last 24 hours, the highest activity in the eruption has remained around the middle of the fissure that opened on December 18th. Seismic activity has been relatively steady, and there have been little changes in deformation since the eruption began. Considering this, the Icelandic Meteorological Office assesses that the likelihood of a new eruption forming without warning near Grindavik has decreased. That is good news. Therefore, the IMO, Icelandic Met Office, has issued a new hazard assessment map that will take effect tomorrow. Rather interesting there, right? So here is the hazard map in general. The main area of interest, of course, is going to be in this purple region here on the map. Let me zoom it up here a little bit. That's a little slow. It's so weird that it's so slow, considering I have one of the fastest internets around. Either way, the area in the purple here, east of the Svartsengi region, east of the Blue Lagoon, is the main source of potential fissure openings here. That is the level or the region of magma intrusion. And luckily for the folks there in the Grindavik region, it was well north of the town. A couple different fissures here have opened up, and they're stating that the most recent activity has been confined now to about the center section of the fissure area, which is good news. Lava flow in general, well, there's a couple different scenarios here. Most of it looks like it is moving to the east-southeast here, away from the Svartsengi power plant out there. And there's one little channel here going in between these mountain ranges. Now, the lines here indicate elevation change. This is a higher peak compared to where this is. So if things do open up a little bit further here on the south end of the fissure opening, or if we see something new open up here, that magma could flow subsequently down here south, close to the Grindavik region. But I think it's unlikely right now how quick this has died down. A lot of people still playing it off, saying that it's more may be coming, and it's possible more may be coming here in terms of new fissure activity. But there's been no increasing inflation activity. Things have died down; they've subsided. So we'll continue to watch this, but the most likely area of further fissures opening would be within this purple area. Now, of course, there's going to be volcanic gases and whatnot that we have to deal with out here across the area. And we'll definitely continue to watch that. Let's see here. The hazard map is valid until the 28th of December. It should be noted that although the likelihood of a vent formation within Area 4 has decreased, the hazard level in that area is nevertheless considered substantial due to volcanic gases. Obviously, the fountaining of lava, everything else that could take place here with further openings of fissures. That's the why it's so elevated right here in the region. So level 4 is over here around the Svartsengi area, Blue Lagoon. That's a region where we could see gases travel across this area. I don't think there's going to be a fissure open up here in this area, but there's always that likelihood of volcanic gases and whatnot. Main area in the purple right there. Let's see here. It has also been shown that the magma can reach the surface quickly, obviously, leaving little time to issue warnings. When this thing kicked up here a couple days ago, there was a huge earthquake swarm, and then within about, I don't know, what was it, half an hour, maybe an hour's time frame, that's when we've seen the fissure activity open up. And we got some fountaining of lava taking place there. Here's a little aerial view. This is, oh man, I can't read this in Icelandic here, but this is, I believe this is looking from the north, right? Because this would be flowing to the east here, or to the to the east. But either way, kind of neat. Definitely cool to see out there in the daytime. What is very minimal daytime up there this time of year. This one was put out today as well. The vigor of the eruption continues to diminish, as I've stated earlier in this video. New images of the area show that currently 2 craters are erupting. Okay. The most active today is a crater directly east of the Slingarfell area, which is the southernmost of the craters that were active yesterday. Lava continues to flow east from the volcanic vents, but a lava tongue also runs west. The southern edge of the lava does not appear to be advancing. Satellite images taken last night show that the lava field is about 3.7 square kilometers in size. This is actually a really decent map here of where the lava is taking place. We're flowing to. This, I guess, is that tongue that they mentioned. There's a tongue region up here as well, starting to head around this mountain range westward. But that's good news. You know, this could have gone this way and then down slope across this. Well, it'd have to go up slope here and then down slope. So this is kind of acting as a blockade here to prevent that lava from flowing further west to the Svartsengi area. The only other concern, like I say, is flowing down here. It doesn't look like there's anything stopping it from going south, but right now the main areas obviously are these 2 active vents right here in the red, and we'll continue to watch that. It definitely looks like things are mellowing out. I was watching this fountaining earlier, and sometimes, yeah, we get some dramatic stuff going on like that, but it's not a continuous activity event right now, which is good news. That means that things could be hopefully over with. Let's check out the... I'll go back here, see if we missed anything. I think that's about it. Let's check out earthquake activity real quick in that region, see what we have. And, well, 49 earthquakes in the last 12 hours, but that includes areas outside of the Grindavik region as well, specifically around the Grindavik area where we're seeing that earthquake or the fissure activity. A little bit of movement further up north, but this is on the northern edge of where the fissure activity is taking place. Some down south here. This is what we'll have to watch. If we start seeing a huge increase in earthquake activity down south here, south of the current fissure opening, that is the likelihood that we're looking at maybe impending opening there of the surface. So we'll continue to watch that. But right now it's just generally small earthquake activity. It could have something to do with subsidence, right? There's been no deformation going on as far as inflation goes. Obviously there's deflation because of what's going on now with the magma flowing up through the surface and fountaining over into lava flows. So we'll continue to watch that. But like I said, if we see anything major going on here, it could be a little sign of something about ready to get going there. All right, let's see what else we got across the rest of the world. Man, look at South Sandwich Islands down there. Quite a bit of earthquake activity earlier this morning, it looks like. Quite a couple of 4s and even a 5.6, all within a short time frame of each other. Of course, this is the area that's seen an 8.1 back in 2019, was it? Or was it 2020? One of the years. It may have even been 2021. That's what I'm thinking it was, 2021. But still some activity brewing up here overnight. Down into the South America region, there's that 6.2. Into the Peru area, it's actually somewhat deep here, 93 kilometers into the Peru-Chile Trench. Remember, we had seen a little bit of earthquake activity out here in the divergent boundaries. That adds further strain up here, and we did see quite a bit of deep activity here recently, about the center portion of the Peru-Chile Trench here. It looks like that has added enough strain and stress here along this bend to create this earthquake up here, 6.2, 93 kilometers. There's a lot of that deeper movement prior to this activity. Continue to watch that, though. Still showing some elevated activity down there. Let's see what we got here. Across the Puerto Rico area, a handful of smaller quakes here. Nothing major going on today. Mostly 2s out there in the area of the Puerto Rico Trench. As far as the states go, typical zones getting hit out here. Oklahoma, Texas. Kind of crazy to think that this is typical earthquake activity. Just give you a good indicator of how many earthquakes have taken place out here in Texas. I kind of want to show you guys real quick. This is actually quite incredible. We're just going to go 1.0 and above, okay? And there may be some earthquakes below that. But I want to go back here to... let's go back to the first of the year and see what's going on. Probably a staggering number here. Hopefully it doesn't blow up the computer. But we'll see. And it's a specific area out here across this region of Pecos, Texas, that has shown higher increasing earthquake activity compared to the rest of the oil fields out there in Texas and Oklahoma and other areas. But something's going on out here that it's definitely under quite a bit of strain out in the oil fields here of Texas. So we're going back to January 1st, 1.0 and above. You ready? There we go. We'll see what happens. Earthquake. Oh, that's not too bad. Well, if you think about it, though, 3,102 earthquakes. And that is, I'm going to redefine that real quick. I want to add, all earthquakes. I'm kind of curious about that, because earthquakes are earthquakes, right? 3,100 to 3,139. So it doesn't look like I don't even know if they're covering all the smaller earthquakes, to be honest. They may not be. Either way, 3,100 earthquakes in this year so far. That's a pretty decent amount of earthquake activity, right? Look at that, 3,139, and we're not even done yet. Most of it has been in a linear fashion here, including a couple larger earthquakes, a 5.2 last month in this little swarm. And this is just heavily riddled with pumping operations out here all over the place. Not even joking. So I want to compare this year to last year. We got 3,139, right? Let's take a look here and see what we got. I'm going to modify the search and close this up a little bit. 2022 to right there, today's date. And we'll just kind of compare. How did I miss that? Another 2? Okay. And just kind of see what how this compares to last year. A little bit less, huh? 2,300. So we're almost at 1,000 more this year of earthquakes, roughly in the same areas, right? In the same areas that we're seeing, same little clustering zones. Satellite view, it's probably completely covered with these dots, but as you can see, these wastewater disposal ponds are out there in full force all over the place. There's one right here. A lot of oil pumping operations out here in this area of Texas, all over. Look at this out here even. You can see them more prominently out in this type of satellite imagery. But goodness, what's next year going to bring? 1,000 more on top of the ones that we've seen this year? Who knows? But they will get bigger and more frequent. There is a lot of a lot of damage out at the surface levels here and down below, of course. Not going to get into the whole process involved, but no doubt earthquake activity is increasing in those oil fields, that's for sure. All right, let's see what else we got across this area. California, handful of earthquakes. Nothing major going on today. 1.2 Beaumont area. Let's see what we got for the 2.5 map and above. There's that one from last night. Nothing really going on across the rest of the West Coast. One little earthquake up here near Stanley, Idaho, 2.7. But aside from that, generally microquake activity prevails out here today. Nothing big to report. A little bit of movement around Mount Rainier. Let's double check Yellowstone, because last time I skipped Yellowstone, they were having a pretty good swarm. Doesn't look like there's too much activity taking place out here. That's going to be the 6-pointer right here, I believe, from the South America region. That was about, well, it showed up on this one here too. That was, yeah, that's the South America time frame. Between 4:30 and 5:30, that was 6.2 down here. Struck at 04:11, and then of course P waves or S waves travel, take a little distance here to get up here to Wyoming. All right, let's see what else we got here. Anything else going on across the Alaska area? Did see a little bit of movement up here at this volcano. The Kanaga volcano looks a little bit less active here today in terms of earthquake activity. Not seeing too much movement here across the Aleutian Trench, just generally microquake activity. Across the Big Island of Hawaii, looks about the same. But let's see. Last night we were taking a sharp increase in inflation. So let's check it out today. I'm sure we're... I haven't even seen it yet today, so I'm just checking it just like you guys are. Hopefully, I'm sure we're following that same trend of inflation that we have seen over the past couple months. UWE station, well, kind of ate my words right there. But don't let this little down drop here fool you. It already looks like we're starting to come back up, and if you look here, each inflation event, you know, the peak of it, there's always been these little dips going on the way up, kind of like the stock market in a way. And then we get into fuller uphill inflation type activity. So I'm guessing that little downslope is maybe similar to one of these that we had seen before, but this should continue to go up. We'll check back on it here later tonight and see how much higher we are up on the chart. Earthquake activity, not a whole lot going on. There's a handful of earthquakes, but this has just been one of those things here with Kilauea Volcano that, you know, obviously with no magmas underneath the subsurface area, it's rising, and I'm more thinking along the lines more of an eruption happening south here of the crater area, maybe even southeast here where we've noticed some new swarms. I don't think it's going to find its way to the lava lake area like it has been in the past couple eruptions, but just basing my little theory here on what we've seen here so far this year. Looks like there's some rain or something going on up there in the volcano area there at Kilauea. Let me zoom in here, see if I can get a little bit better angle. Yeah, definitely cloudy out there, rainy. That's not Planet X. That's a raindrop. A couple raindrops on the lens. Yeah. Looks like a normal day up there. Got some steam, some volcanic gases seeping up there through the cracks in the lava lake area. But aside from that, things look like they're holding steady. Further to the south here, got one little earthquake from yesterday. That's going to be a 4.9, 600 kilometers deep. Well, you think that would amplify conditions out here, right? Doesn't look like it, at least as far as anything big. Look on the earthquake 3D globe here, still shows a little active, or a lack of activity here across this region, a little seismic gap zone. Maybe expecting that to fill in here soon. A couple threes down in New Zealand and the Kermadec Trench, but for the most part, this looks generally normal. Some movement up here in Japan as well, just off the coast and into the Izu Trench area. A couple fours. The Kurokamachaka looks pretty quiet up here. Look at that. Very quiet for that subduction zone. Clustering going on once again here across this plate boundary. Not a whole lot to report across this area of the world. So, we'll continue to watch it, see what Mother Nature wants to do after relieving a little strain up here with pressure, but that, I guarantee you that was not even a lot. I mean, it was a lot compared to previous eruptions here, but it probably makes no difference with pressure out here in the general area. Let's see, space weather activity. See what's going on here from the solarham.net site. Got numerous sunspots out here, but is any of them looking promising here today? Let's check them out. They're growing, but they're growing away from each other in complexity, so that's not good news for flaring. This little area here across this main sunspot region does show a little bit of complexity, but it's taken a dynamic split. This area over here looks promising, but like all the other active regions, they're way out on the western limb here, so I don't think that would be geo-effective much longer if that thing decides to pop off some flaring. And the rest of these sunspots here, well, I guess we'll just have to watch them. There's a lot of splitting going on here amongst those cores. Let's see what the overall threat right now is. 99% chance for a C flare, M flare at 35, X flare around 5% chance. And we've seen a little bit of C flare popcorn going on over the last 24 hours. A little bit of popping going on, but nothing really breaking through to the M flare category. I expect that to remain the same unless we see some further complexity going on with those regions up there. And there's numerous. They're just not looking all that promising right now. Aurora forecast, well, that's a whole lot of green in the forecast, but in the wrong direction. Whole lot of green up here means not a whole lot of green above our heads across the polar region, so not looking likely there for any major aurora events for now. Storm Prediction Center out here, no severe weather likely. Potential for flooding out here, though, across the California area, Southern California. Storm reports. Somebody said that there was a tornado out in Oroville last night. I'm not really picking up on that too much. A couple of branches and maybe a trampoline flying around does not necessarily mean it's a tornado. Oroville, California. We had a line of thunderstorms go through there last night. But, those straight line winds, you could be getting some downdraft winds. Doesn't necessarily mean that those are that it's a tornado. But here is the western states out here getting a little bit of rain back along the coastline. This low pressure system is going to make its way down to Southern California and definitely provide them with some rainfall. It's tapping into some subtropical moisture down from the south. So it'll be drying out in Northern California while Southern California gets a little bit of rainfall. And then back behind that, we got a few days of clearness. Well, maybe not clearness, but lack of rainfall. Right around the 27th of this month is when we see our next storm system roll in. And then it looks as though that will remain the pattern here as we head into 2024. So we'll continue to watch that. Rainfall totals out here. Now this, of course, is going way into 2024. Looks like Pacific Northwest is going to get hammered once again. I want to go just for the next couple runs here across Southern California. That's going to include it right there. Mainly, it looks like between 2 to 3 inches of rainfall here across Los Angeles area and a good portion of extreme coastline here in Southern California. Inland's going to get quite a bit less, but either way, it looks like, you guys are at least going to get something. That's good news. Rainfall is definitely needed out here. Far as, let's see here. windy map. See, I want to kind of see what these guys have to say about the rainfall accumulation. Yeah, about 3.5 inches, 3.3 or so around Los Angeles area. And again, well, inland's going to be a lot less. Those mountain ranges out there are going to block a lot of the rainfall from getting over here into the deserts of Southern California. Next 10 days or so, there's more moisture out there across the Pacific. A little bit of rain up into the plain states and portions of the Midwest. But as far as any major severe weather goes, I'm really not seeing anything spectacular going on. All right, what else is there? Today feels like a Monday for some reason. I don't know. It's just kind of dragging by. Not for sure what's going on here. Am I still live? Let me double check here. I am, but I lost all my seismograph stations here. Every single one is offline. Goodness. All right, well, we'll check back on those. I always like to check them because, well, there's another 4.6 in China just now. All right, well, we'll catch you guys back here a little bit later on. Unless something major changes, we'll see you guys back here a little bit later on tonight. Take care, everyone, and stay safe out there.